Oh, I am a little less than prepared. So, let's see if we can get things organized here. This is going to need to come over this way. Artists never were the type that were always prepared for things, right, guys? They're not the most organized lot. Let's get this pushed over. Center it right there. And as always, paints that we're using, we're going to use some acrylic paint and just get started. This one's going to be a cloudscape that's going to have a big floating island on it and probably a castle, because Jesse really wanted a castle. So let's get started with putting some paint on canvas. Let's check. I need to make sure if it was dry. I just had moments to get this thing ready before we pull out the handy dandy hair dryer. Okay, guys, if you're just joining, my name is Sean Nathan Ricks. I am the creator of the I Magi Kingdom of Thor card game. I'm also the individual that wrote the I Magi novels, and I am also the individual that ended up creating the novel The Man Who Would Be Time. And then I'm also the artist that for all of every single bit of the art that's inside I Magi. There are a couple of artists that were involved before. I might still bring some of them back, but I haven't decided yet. Okay, we're using titanium white. We're just going to put it down. We've got a really nice blue-gray for our background. This great big brush is just going to soften some of this up for us. If it gets a little bit tacky and we need to get some more depth, we're going to pull out one of these dense brushes right here. And hi, Renee's in the house. Of course you're in the house. You're always the first one here. I love it. Like fan number one. In fact, reach out to Emily and tell her, hey, I'm fan number one. Sean said so. By the way, is she going to join, or is Shad going to join? Anybody else that's going to end up watching this today? Everybody tells me that Saturday's the day to paint, or the night to paint. Say, yeah, I'll definitely be there. I'll definitely watch on Saturdays. Uh-huh. I think I just need to sneak up on people. Forget about scheduling them. I'll just start doing them and then sending out on the fan page that you guys get to watch, the messenger. Just say, hey, going to be painting. You guys can either watch it or be left behind. Soften those clouds up for our first little cloud bank there, and we're going to start working on some more. Wow, we've got 25 people joining us. Okay, well, you 25, that means a lot of you guys are brand new to iMagi and brand new to my art page. As I was saying earlier, I am the author of iMagi. I am the creator of the iMagi Kingdom of Thor card game. Every single one of my paintings goes into that card game. And I'm also the author that wrote The Man Who Would Be Time. And I have a brand new novel coming out called I Mystic. That's coming out this year. Going to be on shelves by the time we hit, let's see, November 1st. They'll be available to purchase on Amazon. You can go and take a look at my website. That's the best way to support me while we're here doing things. That would be buymynovels.com. B-U-Y, mynovels.com. What we're doing right now is we're just getting our background prepped for cloud after cloud after cloud, and then we're going to paint a floating island with a castle on it today. Maybe a castle, maybe it's just going to be a Spanish mission. I haven't decided yet. We take these giant makeup brushes and soften everything up. It's going to get a lot of that water sucked up inside the brush, and we start to get some form for our clouds. Now today we are making our light source come from over here, and it's going to come down this way. So it's going to travel from that side of the canvas all the way down to that side of the canvas. And Enzo, hey Enzo, how are you? Welcome back. Anybody who has been here before, let me know. Anybody who has not been here before, let me know about that too. I get excited about both sides of the coin on that. Let's come up through here. We're going to get big fluffy clouds today, guys. Cloud bank after cloud bank after cloud bank. They're all going to be rushing through here. And again, if you have not already bought a novel, go to buymynovels.com. You can buy it from the store. You can buy it from Amazon. If you go to the author page there, you get to see what I look like. And my author page on there is Sean Nathan Ricks. There are a lot of other authors that I have invited on there, and I like every single one of them. They're great guys and gals. In fact, there is one on there by a good friend of mine. Her name is Julie Frost. She is known as That Werewolf Author. And she really is that werewolf author. Oftentimes writing about a badass biker dude who also happens to be a werewolf. So, you want to take a look at some of those things. Okay, we've got a little bit of our clouds starting to come in here. Why don't we give it a little bit of depth and color? We're going to come all the way down here and we'll make some dark cloud areas. Okay, the dark cloud areas, we're just going to make you all really nervous by putting a giant blob of dark paint here. And most people who end up watching know that this is already going to turn into something spectacular. But those that are new, you're going to be like, oh dear God, he has just messed everything up. Which I haven't. The makeup brush is going to go ahead and mix the paint for me right with the other paint on there. It's a little bit dry, this one. I'm going to grab one that's wet. I had just been cleaning this big one here, so it's going to be wet and it will pull the paint around for me. There we go. Starting to get some interesting cloud formations, and I let the brush really do the work for me. I never really know when I start these what they're going to end up looking like. The picture that I end up using, because I have to have some kind of photo for the YouTube preview, that's always a photo of something that I've done previously. So this is just me going through, and then we'll darken that up just a little bit. If we left this corner, this is for you art guys, if we left this corner down here, you almost spaced it, hi Emily. If we left this corner just no dark colors in it, it would be bad. It would detract from everything up here. So sometimes you want to bring those colors down and about. And we will just soften up our cloud bank. Get a little bit of in there and a little bit right there. And then let's darken up that corner too. We don't want to detract from where our light source is going to be. Okay. That one can go in the drink. We'll soften it up with this one. Switching from the brush to brush to brush, you have to have them all kind of laid out for you before you end up starting your painting so that you have them readily available. Oh yeah, by the way, do not forget to like and subscribe. If you are somebody who is brand new to this, absolutely, please, since you have found my channel and you want to watch me paint more and more, what you would like to do is go ahead and subscribe. Subscribers get the opportunity in the future to buy limited edition prints of anything that I paint. You can end up requesting it. Again, anybody who is new, also go and take a look at buymynovels.com. That's B-U-Y, mynovels.com. There is a link inside the description. And guess what? Everything we've just put on, this is just background. All you people who watch me paint so much, you know that this is layer on layer on layer, and right now, this is just our beginning layer, isn't it, guys? Let's see, who's in the comments yet? Nobody new. Hey, I need new comments out there, okay? I need new people to come in and comment. I need existing people to come in and comment. By the way, Emily, did Renee let you know she gets to be #1 fan? That's right. Fight it out amongst yourselves. You may want to ask, why does she get to be #1 fan? She'll tell you. Okay, we've got some good clouds that are forming. Comment lol. Oh, hilarious. Okay, we've got to clean that brush that I'm using. It's going to be clear over here. It is very wet. Now we need to add some interesting aspects and color. Okay, we're going to pull in one of these makeup brushes right here. We're going to get it a little bit wet. It's got to be a little wet. If it's not going to work properly. And we're going to use this flat little brush here. That's got to be wet as well. And we're going to start pulling in some color. First, we're going to go with some of our unbleached titanium white. We're just going to put some here. We're going to get that big glob and pull some over here and here. Then we take this brush that we've got, make sure it's still wet, and we're going to start giving some color and depth to our clouds. The color and depth to the clouds, and again, the clouds are just the background because we're going to have a floating island over top of it. Now, I had my editor talk to me today rather sternly. We're on chapter 27 of I, Mystic, the next novel in the Magi cycle. One of them that this has to do a great deal with, this particular painting will. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know yet. Probably. I'm going to say probably. But he was getting after me rather sternly because I had started painting a little bit more than I was writing. And I have got to have a balance between both. I like this brush because it's going to pull some of that paint away and it's going to give a little window to the background of those clouds. And I can push really hard with this one. And it's going to mix things rather roughly right on the canvas. Okay, we've got a little bit of color in there. We need to decide if we're going to add any more color. One thing I do know is that our light source up here is going to be pretty vibrant this time. And then, of course, we need to pull our spears of light out with it. Let's pull a few of those. We need to soften that up just a little. We'll go very lightly with this brush. It's that same one we used for the separation values. Now we know where our light source is coming from. We need to come in and fuzz it out a little bit there and there. Okay, starting to get some formation. I like the way that it's moving. Make a comment and say hello if you end up liking how it's starting to form up. And if you have any questions along the way, of course, that is one of the ways that I end up getting to teach you guys how to paint and have you enjoy the joy of painting is by telling you how it is that I do it. Let's get a little more white and we'll cover up through there where we got some of it. And let's pull a little bit down here. We want to be able to create form, just like it's a ball. Like every single one of these clouds is its own ball. And that ball has the light source on one side, and then it travels to the other side and gets into the dark shadows, our lowlights. By the way, I ended up having a compliment by somebody on one of the videos. Somebody commented, said, "I'm brand new. I found your channel. I just watched your full video. Please do not ever stop painting again." That made me feel spectacular. I liked that quite a bit. I'm looking for a brush. I can't find. Ah, there, I found it. That's the brush I want. Let's grab that one. Myron just heard you and yelled, "Ooh, what is he doing?" I really need to schedule my time for the iMagi convention out there in Pasco and give him his art lesson from me. And let me know if he heard that too. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit of formation. We need to go to a small brush, one of these. We need to get it wet, and we need to soften that up. And then we need a rather large brush to soften it even more. Okay, now Let's get more color added in fun places. Okay, we've got a little of our titanium white and our unbleached titanium. Let's add some yellow across the forefront of the clouds here. Then let's use the makeup brush to pull on that a little bit. And we've got color. Great. Okay, let's go with a little bit more yellow and a little bit of my favorite little peach. Get some of that color there. I don't want to use this one for this. I want to move over to this one. It's a little stiffer. Get that wet and then pull down across those areas. And it mixes for me right on the canvas. Now, we have a little bit of a problem. We don't have nearly enough brightness up here in the corner for what it is that we're creating, so we've got to add a little bit more. Kind of give it one of those sun rings, the concentric circles coming out. And then we will switch over to that larger one and soften that quite a bit more. Now we've got a little bit of white and peach that are still on this from when we were working over here. We're just going to let that work inside the canvas in those areas. And that white and peach will naturally give me a little bit more of what I'm looking for. Then, of course, when we want to soften it, the great big brush. Okay, now we have a light source, a much better one. We can bring down spears of light. Probably ought to get that a little more wet to bring in spears of light. And just get them to pull down across the canvas. There we go. Okay, all right, let's get working on other areas. I actually want that to be quite a bit softer, so I'm going to push really hard here. Okay, I like that one better. Okay, here we go. Let's get more color into our clouds. We're going to get some raw umber. No, sorry, not raw umber, raw sienna. We'll put a little bit of it back through here. And then we're going to go and mix that in. Okay, getting it to work just right. And we'll grab some of our dark color and mix it through here, pull it back into this back area. And then when we really need the cloud to look just the right way, you guys know that this trusty brush right here will do it. Get a little bit wet. And start making the cloud behave more like a cloud. Just like that. Maybe a little more through here as well. I don't like the way that worked, so I'm going to pull it out and we will go back into it a little later. It's my prerogative. I get to change it how I want because it's my painting. I've had people watch me paint in real time and go, ah, you just ruined it. No, I just changed it. I started changing it to something else that I wanted to do. And that is perfectly allowed. You guys can go ahead and jump in and change your paintings anytime you'd like. Now let's get some titanium white across there as well. And this brush is going to do our job for us. And we will add more color into that to get it back to a different type of cloud in a minute. Right now we're just playing around on the canvas as we go. There are no accidents, just happy little, well, there's no mistakes, just happy little accidents. That is absolutely correct. Hi, Skylar. Did you like Bob Ross? Love it? Well, Skylar, if you're brand new to the channel, then of course we want to give you a shout out. Hi, Skylar. Everybody say hi to Skylar, okay? Send some messages to Skylar there. And also, Skylar, what we want to do is make sure you like and you subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel right now, because when I paint these live paintings, everybody has a great opportunity to come together and chat. And the most important thing is, if you are an artist yourself, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. If you are an artist yourself, we want you to tell everyone that you're an artist here, because all of my fans, they are my friends. I don't have fans, I have friends. So if you're going to become a fan of mine, you're just going to become my friend. And that means that my fans love to hear about new, young artists. And if you've got a website, they would love to be able to see that in the comments. And if you are not and you just enjoy watching painting, well then kick back, relax, get some popcorn, because you are in for a wild ride that you're going to enjoy from start to finish on this. There we go. I like the way that cloud bank turned out. Simone isn't on. Can we pick on her? Okay, so Skylar, Emily and Renee are on here with me, and they are two of my most ardent fans and friends. And we all have a friend named Simone. So yes, we can absolutely pick on Simone, but it's a whole lot more fun to pick on her when she's here, especially since Ruby. See how I got the name right finally. Oh my gosh, I got it so many times wrong last time. I kept on calling her Rose. Ruby loves picking on Simone too, just for fun. Simone isn't on. Can we pick on her? That's the one person said no. That's funny. All right, hang on one second here. There we go. All right. Okay, let's get a little bit more depth going on with these clouds. I can always come in layer after layer after layer and just go on top of everything over and over and over again. Right now I'm just using a flat brush, and I'll go clockwise, then counterclockwise. I'm developing the foreline, this front line of the clouds, and then I'm going to leave the front line alone mostly. This is one of the areas where I will bring in a hard line. These are going to be nice and soft through here because they're in the background, but this will be a hard line on it. There we go. Bring that forward. Yes, oh, that's looking good. And this one too is going to come down across this area and sneak down across there. And then up here, once it gets up to this way though, we are going to soften it, because the only hard line area is going to be right there across that. Now, you have to work this paint quickly, guys. It is acrylic paint. Work it as fast as you possibly can, because it will set up on you super quick. And that's where you need to know exactly how much water to have in your brush to make sure it'll mix appropriately. By the way, if you guys could see right down here, and maybe you can, let's see. Hello. Hi. Say hello to everybody. Say hi. There. Okay. Let's get back to the painting before the paint ends up setting up on us. I just dipped right into some permanent black and some Payne's gray. And I'm going to bring that forward through there as well to that area. Then I need my big brush because I'm going to soften that. Oh, I like that. I like the way that's working. We need to work on this pretty quick though, because the back edge of our cloud there is starting to set up, and we can't have that setting up too quickly. We've got to get some of that mixed in properly. We're going to pull out this brush again, just kind of push the paint around. You know, I think since this kind of looks like a sunset, we ought to get some red in here, right, guys? Who's a fan of getting some red on this, huh? Come on. I want to see it in the chats. Who wants red? You're having storms here, so you may have to get up. Well, that's okay, Skylar. We appreciate you coming. We appreciate you subscribing and saying hello. Thanks for stopping in. And again, who wants to see some red in the clouds? There we go. Soft, soft, soft. Tornado and hail. Oh, geez, that's crazy. I hope you're safe. Be safe. You know, you want to stop watching and go get somewhere safe. Oh, yeah, you're in Arkansas? Yeah, go get somewhere safe, dude. Come on. You can't be a fan and a friend for the future if you are not around. So go get thine self to a safe place. I believe that's a commandment from the great and mighty Oz. Okay, where did we land on the idea of red, guys? Hopefully nothing too crazy happens. Yes, indeed. Red, medium, and crimson. I'm going to pull these two colors out. Okay. First, I think we'll work with our crimson. And I like this area here. We're going to take some of this crimson, which is semi-transparent. We're just going to put a couple of little blobs there. Then we'll work them in with a brush real quick. Oh yeah, I'm happy with that. That looks good. We'll probably have to bring some titanium white back over it a little bit later, but it's looking pretty good for adding some depth and color to those clouds. Maybe put up just a little from what's on it up through here. Yes, there we go. All right. That crimson gives us a nice purplish color as it's mixing with the Payne's gray, which I'm happy with. And let's bring some of that wind down this way. Not nearly as much wind as what Skylar's about to deal with. Okay, I like the way that that works. So let's go to some of our smaller brushes. Where's the one that I really want? That one right there. We're going to work that. Thank you, Emily. I like that color too. I think it works very well. We need just a tendril of white. Whoa, that was really not great. Okay, we need just a tendril of white along here for the forefront of the clouds. And then we need to get this brush a little wet and pull that through just right. All right, everything's working out with our clouds. They are starting to form up exactly the way that I like to see them. We're going to move back to this brush and we're going to soften a little bit. Okay, now I want some vibrant red, some more vibrant red. Let's see. Also going to pull out some orange. Let's get some orange going on here. And some more vibrant red. Because we're going to play around in this area in just a second. So hold on to your hats. What we're about to do is going to change everything. Painting foul, yeah. Okay, here we go. We're going to go back to that same brush, but this time we're going to grab this one. We want to bring a little bit more paint up into this area. And we're going to put it right back through here. And maybe we'll put just a little bit right in there. We're really going to bring this right through here. Bring a little forward into our white. Bring some back. And then we'll grab some of our orange and put it in there real quick as well. and just mix that a little bit forward. Then while that's all still very wet, we're going to clean those two brushes quickly as we can, and we're going to grab some titanium white. And that is a big glob of titanium white. That's okay, I want it that way. Once we've got that, of course, we switch over to this brush right here. And start making our clouds work. And it's going to mix the cloud right on the canvas for us. Clockwise, counterclockwise, depending upon if I want to pull the paint away from it, it's counterclockwise. If I want to move the paint forward into it, if I want to pull it away, it's clockwise. If I want to move it in, it's counterclockwise. Now we've got some here. We're going to bring it up here into where we want this to be a little bit more white and vibrant for our light source. Okay. Pull that out, get ourselves some swirls going all the way out. Maybe we've got one swirl of cloud that pulls itself out because the wind is really crazy on that. There, I like the way that's working. Now let's work down here. We've got some color that's naturally on here. This titanium white has already dried, so anything that we put on is going to be on top of it. If we push too hard, it might pick some of that titanium white up, but that's not what we really want to do. And then, as always, if we want to soften it like crazy, we grab the giant brush and we soften out until we start to feel a little bit better about it. Now, we have all this dark stuff. I can end up coming through and adding some highlights, but I don't think I want the highlights there. Instead, I'm going to grab our giant brush. We're going to get some Payne's Gray, a little bit of water on it. We're going to get some permanent black, and then I'm also going to dip into my crimson and my regular red, and we're going to bring that forth and then pull it along the back side of this cloud as well. Bring a little bit up into this area and then some right through here as well. And it's that tension that we create. The tension on the canvas is really what makes the canvas and the painting come alive for us. We're going to dip into this brush now. We're going to go very softly clockwise and counterclockwise until we end up getting it to feel a little more the way we want. I like that hard line there, disappearing up into this area. And we're just trying to move around some paint at this point. I like the hard line that appears here. It's a little softer behind it. Clouds have got so many different layers to them. The storms that you see, you're only seeing one view of the storm. If you could actually get inside the storm, there's so much more going on there. Yes, okay. The cloud's starting to look really nice here. We're feeling a little bit better about it. We've got some paint down here on the base that we're going to bring up into this cloud a bit. And we'll soften up there. I was a little unhappy with the way this bottom area was working. Now I'm happier with it. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to put a tiny highlight right here. Okay. Okay, let's center this just a little bit better. There, everyone can see better now. Okay, we're going to get my favorite little peach color, going with some orange. We're going to get some red in with that. And then we're just going to bring a little bit down along in here. Just a little. Then we'll use our brush, one of our makeup brushes. Make sure that it's wet enough to move the paint around. And we will fuzz it out. Make it a little more indistinct. We don't need it to be a hard edge. If it was too hard, it would very much distract from our big highlight areas up here. There we go. Okay, that looks nice. Now, let's add a little bit here, a little bit there. We're going to definitely come through this area with more titanium white because we're picking some of it up. Once we end up putting in our floating island, we don't even know which areas of this are going to be preserved and which areas will disappear. More titanium white. It's got a little bit of our peach color in it. In fact, we'll put a little bit of that right up in here as well. We're going to work on this area first because we want it to be rather indistinct. That adds a little layer to it, and I think I like the idea of just a little bit out in here. There we go. Okay, all right. Tell me how you think it's starting to look. How do you like it? What do you like best so far? Light up those comments for me, guys. We want a little bit more of our red in here. And by a little bit more, I mean a lot more. And then some more of our titanium as well. Just going to blob it in and then use our big brush to make it work for us. All of my friends out there, you guys know that it just ends up changing. You guys can never predict how it's going to go, can you? Okay, we've got some pretty good. The depth, thank you. Thank you. Okay, we've got some fun going on toward the bottom of the canvas. I'm just going to take this brush and dip it into our dark color and then come through and give us a little more contrast in areas. Mix it for us right in. We're going to switch to another brush here real quick, if I can find it. Where'd that brush go? Ah, this one. It's a little bit tacky. That's got just enough water in it, so that's good. It's going to soften some of these clouds that we just brutalized a bit. Do the same thing through here. I like that. It's got a little bit of extra on it. We're going to use that to add through the foreground because it's really, really light colors there. Now, I'm going to show you guys the best way to get the spears in because this is one of those things a lot of people look at and they're really not sure how it's working. You make it look so easy. It look like big globs of paint in limbo. That's why I need to come out there and give you guys the lessons all at the same time, right? I love reading the comments. Okay, let's get vibrant paint. bright, bright, bright paint for our big highlight here. We're going to use this one to get it in place. Let's do a little bit more. Clockwise, counterclockwise, just get it to feel like there's some clouds up there, and then just pull. In fact, let's give a glob right there, and then just pull on it. Right down through everything. I love it. Guess what? That's it for the cloudscape. What we're going to move on to here in just a second is we're going to start painting the floating island now. Because we've got a great cloudscape. It's very dramatic. It's got a lot going on with it. But what I've got planned for the floating island is even bigger. Okay, I've got to get my brushes out, and this has got to set up for a minute. So, floating island time here in just a moment. Same as a disaster. All right, you guys are a riot all the time. Okay, now I need to get some paint in the appropriate places. We're going to get some of this. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to use some pearlized carbon black. Pearlized carbon black. It's very shiny. It's got a metallic tint to it. And then we're going to get some permanent black, and we're going to mix that in with it. I mean, a lot of it. And then some Payne's Gray. Now, I've run out of my normal Payne's Gray, but this stuff is from up in Washington way. This is M. Graham & Co. It's made up that way, as I understand it. We're going to get some of that pushed in there, and then we're going to mix it. Where is my palette knife? I need my palette knife, guys. This is a palette knife that I refuse to clean. It's my lucky palette knife. It just keeps on getting more and more and more paint caked onto it. And I can't clean it. Like I said, it's the lucky palette knife. Cleaning it would be wrong on so many levels. It'd be blasphemy for the holy palette knife of greatness. Okay, we're going to get that stuff mixed in, and then I need to get some water on it. You've got to get water into your acrylic paint. I use very heavy body acrylic paint so that I can paint it just like it's oil paint. Okay, now we need to get a little more water on there. We're not quite thin enough to start painting where we need to. Getting close. The consistency's almost there, guys, and then you'll be able to see it, but that's okay. This has got to dry anyway. And it's not dry yet, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to pull out the handy-dandy cheat to get it to dry. There you go. Let's do it. Emily, you missed what I'm painting this time? We're going to be painting a floating island over it. And I've decided probably a Spanish mission is going on it. I know that Jesse wanted a castle. Maybe it'll be a castle. I have not really decided yet. Try. See? Great cheat. Makes a lot of noise while I'm on a live, but that's okay. You guys can deal with it. And if you can't, then sorry, you still have to deal with it. If you want to stick around and watch, you kind of have to. Okay. We're going to take a brush like this. Nice flat brush. We're going to get a lot of water in it. And we're going to kind of make the paint that I'm about to put on for the base of the island. It's going to be very much like ink. Here we go. And we want, we're going to come down like that because it's going to just come across, and then we're not going to make this one angular like some of the others. I'm going to make it a softer, curvier bottom. Put in our base here for our floating island. And then run part of our floating island off the canvas to that side. So is it truly floating, or is it just connected over here? It's truly floating. You know how I know? The same way that I know that behind that cloud there's a giant ogre that's flipping people off. It's my painting, and I can make that up as I go. Okay. All right. Now we want to mix up a nice gray color. Okay, we've got a gray color, and we're going to find, where's the brush that I want to find? I'm always losing brushes in here, guys. We're going to take this one, and we're going to start making some mountains. And we'll start right up here. We'll just make the forefront line of some mountains here. We've got to get a little bit more paint. It's getting too tacky, and there we go. We're just pulling down at an angle to get just the forward angle of our mountains there. We come over here and create a cliff face. And then bring our mountain right down to the edge. And just kind of block it in and fill in some gaps real quick. We're not too worried about it right now because there's going to be snow on here. And then what we've got to do is we're going to use a little bit of our unbleached titanium, our raw sienna, and then we're going to mix that with the nice dark color that we made and get some raw umber in there as well. Now we're going to come off the back of our mountain and start creating where the back of our mountain exists. And now get our dark color on there. So now that we've sketched it, we did it that way in case I made any kind of mistakes that I wanted to cover up. It would have been easier to cover it up. Plus now as I bring my black in over top of this color, it gives me more depth in the mountains. And just like that, we're starting to develop our mountain. Now, if it doesn't look soft enough, you guys know me by now, the way that I make things soft. How do I do it? I do it with a makeup brush. I want to bring some of that over here into there just a little bit. Give us a bit of depth and difference. Depth and difference. Okay, now moving back over to my nice flat brush, this one, we're going to get a lot of our dark, dark, dark color. Ugh, my hand's all wet. And there's too much paint there. We'll just scoop it up that way. We start to pick out where the shadow of the mountain starts for the backside. So you have one face that's going to be toward the light. So the mountains are just like a ball as well. They're just a really jagged ball all the way to the back end. So if you can understand where your light source is coming from, that's going to be your most important aspect. This mountain needs a name, some kind of a name that's never been used before. Let's call it Mount Doom. It's never been used before, right, guys? Not once. We don't really have to worry about this. We're going to have some greenery down in here anyway. Okay, come on. The comments are getting dried up there. I'm almost like nobody's watching and paying attention. Remind me you guys are out there. We need some blue. Blue. We'll go into Prussian blue. We used that yesterday. Let's use a little Prussian blue today. If we do some Prussian blue, we're going to need a lot of titanium white inside our Prussian blue. A little bit more than that. And then in order to make it so it's not so vibrant blue, I'm going to take and put in some raw umber. So you guys can see I'm mixing it right there. It is still way too vibrant. If I want to get it so it's not as vibrant, I can take some of the unbleached titanium. I can just push it in there and start getting that mixed in. The color's still not as faded as I want, so I'm going to get my raw umber, which I'm out of here, right? Oh, I still have a little bit in there. I reuse and reuse and reuse. You will notice that I'll end up putting, when I give you guys a lesson in person, I end up putting my tin foil over top of this, so it works. Let's get a little bit of yellow ochre and green it up some. That's looking pretty good. But we don't have nearly enough titanium white, and we don't have nearly enough burnt umber in there. So we'll get some more titanium white put on the palette. Where is my raw umber? Raw umber. Raw umber. You always have to get a giant, giant, giant. Hey, Ruby's in the house. Hi, Ruby. Mount Umber. That's right, Mount Umber. You sure Mount Doom's taken? Are you positive, guys? Do we have to call it Mount Umber? All right, Mount Umber it is. Ruby named it. We're going to go with it. Ruby, I would like to make note that I have not gotten your name wrong a single time on here. Trying to be a better friend. Seriously, I don't know what was going on with my brain the other day. For those that do not know or have tuned in, I was getting Ruby's name wrong every single second word out of my mouth yesterday. And I know Ruby well. She's a great person, and I love her to death, and I am really sorry that I kept getting her name wrong. Okay, Mount Umber is ready. Now I need to find the brush that I lost. Okay, we've got the color. Give you guys a little peek at it. So this is the color we've got. We'll show you kind of what it's going to look like. It's going to be just like that. And we want to start pulling it in different places across the forefront. Maybe even bite a bit more into our dark. And I've got a lot of paint on the brush right now. And then we want to go back into that gray that we mixed and start pulling them together on the canvas. Clean the brush a little bit. and get a little bit more of that white in there. I don't know how that worked, but that white's actually got a little bit of yellow in it now. That's okay, we're going to work with it. We'll make it work right on our canvas. And let's mix up a little bit more of our lighter gray. These are big granite mountains right here, guys. Come down that way. And the blue-gray umber that we've created, along with the other colors, are going to mix right in there to give us our mountain. Now, it's really sticky and tacky paint right now, so in order to get it so that it'll flow together, you've got to get a little water on it. So you have to have a nice big brush for that. We'll just go ahead and pull just like this. Starts to behave more like a mountain now. It's getting a little bit tacky with too much paint, so you got to clean the paint off. Make sure your brush is still wet, and then pull from the bottom going up, and then pull from the top going down. We'll make that a little peak right there, and a little peak, more mellow one, and then our cliff face right there. Okay, all of that's going to get a lot more detail as we go along. So while that is where it is, we're going to dip into our very dark color. I'm going to get some extra brush. I'm going to pull in some of my raw sienna into the backside of the mountain. And then I'll get some of my really dark stuff in here. And pick out some details of where the mountain breaks, and you get to start seeing the backside of it. A lot of paint on there. There's one peak. There's another one right there. Come on. And another one that's very gentle there, and then just kind of goes off the canvas. All right, let's peek at the comments. Ruby, you're the best. I go by whatever besides my government name that's reserved for my mama and the law. You mean Ace Ventura? I'm pretty sure that's why you're in hiding, right? You can't be the pet detective anymore. I think that's what she's alluding to, guys. Don't out her. Don't let anybody know. Everybody cool with that? Don't let her know. Don't let anybody know. Keep her real. I mean, she's probably with the CIA. Let's face it. Ruby's really with the CIA. Exactly. Hey, Sparks. So everybody say hi to Andrew Sparks. Andrew Sparks is actually right here in the same valley as me. So he gets to see these things in person well before you guys do. So you guys can either say hi to him or be jealous of him and give him death threats. Ooh, that's not the way I want that one to go. There we go. Not exactly working there. It's actually, that is the way I want it to go. I think I like that. Andrew will accept death threats. He's used to them. Our cliff. Okay, mountain's starting to take shape. I like the way that's working. Ruby's first name is actually Quetzalcoatl. Pretty sure. Yep, we're going to go with it. Nobody can tell me any different. All right, I'm very happy with the way our base of that is working. We got a lot more work to do on that, but I'm not so happy with this. I think I actually want this to move over like that. I think I like that more. That's better. Okay, I'm happier with that. Now, before we do anything on that, that's got to dry anyway. So right now we can come down. This has got to be dark, 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 dark down here because of what we will do to it later. It has to be absolutely, it's not pitch black because I'm not using black, or very rarely will use pure black on anything. What I use is a mixture of Payne's gray, burnt umber, midnight blue, and then some permanent black is thrown in if I feel like I need it for the contrast. There we go. Okay. So we're doing pretty well on it. Now, unfortunately, guys, yeah, Ruby, I wish you had a name that cool. Yep. Now, unfortunately, guys, I've been painting for an hour. There's a storm coming into my area as well, and I have a massive migraine starting. I can tell because I'm starting to lose the ability to see, and very soon, since it feels like it'll be an aphasiatic migraine, I'll lose the ability to speak properly. So we're going to end it here, and you guys will be able to see it when I post it to the group. Other people will be able to see it once it's done, and I end up putting it on for the image for the live. So other than that, thanks for tuning in, guys. This has been Sean with The Joy of Painting. That's certainly not copyrighted, right, guys? And join me the next time, and let's figure out how I'm going to do my convention in Pasco, Washington, at the Red Lion, because that's where I'd like to hold it. Obviously, we're coming after him in his sleep. Thanks, Simone. Okay. Of course, it wouldn't be a good end to any of these if I didn't zoom out a little bit, give you guys a chance to view it all. We'll go out to the studio, or not the studio, we'll go out to the gallery area. And I do really want to point these out. These, of course, go with the novel. Well, it appears in this novel once. Okay, this, guys, right here. This is the pendant of the Magi. A few of you already have one of these, right? So the few of you that do have them, make sure you tell your friends and let them know that they can be purchased. And of course, the cards, and we have the signed cards for I, Magi, Kingdom of Thor card game. And remember, guys, I'm going to be selling a whole bunch of limited edition prints. You get put into a drawing where one of you lucky people will win this. And again, I do absolutely love Rob and Michael, but they're no longer in the card game. So that's just the way it is. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I love you all.